Us. Let's go over to Dick Morris. Dick Morris has been an advisor to former President Clinton and former President Trump. Today's a big day, Dick, for the Trump team in a historic third run to be not only the 45th president, but maybe the 47th president of the United States. A very wide-ranging speech that he just gave, which was funny at times, but also very serious. And I want to go back to what he said. He kind of related where we are with the Biden administration to sort of an April. This whole thing seems like an April Fool's joke. Your reaction to what you just heard from President Trump?
He certainly is right about that. I thought it was a great speech because it focused on the future, not the past. It was laden with policy proposals with great specificity, backed by the credibility of someone who's done it already. I just am very sorry that 14 million Americans couldn't watch it because DirecTV turned off. They deplatformed Newsmax. So that many Americans many of them might have watched through Newsmax, but AT&T and DirecTV decided, nope, you're not allowed to watch this. The screen goes blank. So I hope that people call the number on the screen and disconnect from DirecTV. I hate to sound like a Jerry Lewis telethon, but operators are standing by. And unless we can manifest to DirecTV and to AT&T, which owns 75% of DirecTV, that the public is outraged by their censorship. You know, we oppose government censorship, but far worse is private censorship, which uses the marketplace to try to wipe out new alternate news sources. And this was only one of two remaining conservative news channels, and the only one that puts President Trump on the air. You won't watch this rally on Fox News. They don't cover it. The only one that covers it is Newsmax, and they're shutting down our access to DirecTV.
Yeah, you know, Dick, to your point, it is very serious, and the militant censorship of the far left, and we certainly know. And in 2016, we talked about this in the pre-show, how once Trump got into this race, it's like a switch was flipped, where they were going to do anything they possibly could to prevent him from being president, and then prevent him from leading once he got into the White House, to really to vilify him.
And impeach him.
Well, obviously, I mean, they impeached him. They impeached him twice. What do you think could be waiting in the wings now? I mean, because this hasn't stopped. This has actually, in some ways, gotten worse. We saw the militant censorship and the digital fascism during COVID between big tech and the government, and the deep state. What do you think is waiting in the wings for the former president now as he tries to retake the Oval Office?
Well, we're at a pivotal moment right now, because it isn't just that Newsmax has been knocked off DirecTV. It's that President Trump has been knocked off because he gives these long speeches that outline his programs with great specificity and great credibility. And now they're not allowed to be broadcast over DirecTV. And that's a milestone that is incredible. In terms of what else they can do, we have to realize that Donald Trump has survived all of this. His ratings are up. He leads DeSantis by 13 points. He leads the field by 11 points. He leads Biden by 5 points. He's going to win the presidency. And they're doing everything they can to stop him. And it's very important that every person out there pick up the phone, not just to protest, not just to sign a petition, but to say, I have had enough. I am not using DirecTV for my TV satellite, and I'm not using AT&T for my cell phone. And that's it. Goodbye. I'm gone. And it's only that kind of talk that stops them from doing this kind of nonsense.
Dick, one more question to you. One of the things that the former president said is he spoke directly to New Hampshireites and to Granite State voters. And he said that Biden is trying to take revenge on them for his fifth place finish by trying to move the primary from New Hampshire to South Carolina. There's a dynamic here that is really very interesting. And remember, Republicans have not been able to win New Hampshire in a general election over the last couple of cycles. And Trump is making it a point to say, no, I respect New Hampshire voters more than they do. Does that have an impact?
Yes, it does, because New Hampshire's entire claim to fame, its claim to have national attention, is its first in the nation primary. And what Biden has done is he knows he lost New Hampshire, he lost Iowa, he lost Nevada. And the only way he became president was a last minute save in South Carolina based on the overwhelming proportion of the black vote. And the black vote is higher in South Carolina as a ratio than any other primary except for Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
What Biden's trying to do now is to put South Carolina first and hope that the rest of the country falls in line.
Yeah.
And it's a thinly devised scheme. But, John McLaughlin just finished a poll, and they asked Democrats, Democratic primary voters, how would you vote in the presidential primary of 24? And 75% voted for candidates other than Joe Biden.
Yeah.
He got 25% in his own party running for re-election. Extraordinary.
Yeah, that is
Obama
extraordinary.
was at 15 and everybody else was in single digits.
That is extraordinary. And in New Hampshire, Joe Biden is trailing Pete Buttigieg of all people. Kamala Harris only getting 2% in the primary polling there that came out this week. Dick Morris, thank you so much. Always appreciate your insights, sir. And remember, you can catch Dick Morris every Saturday right here on Newsmax. Dick Morris Democracy starts at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time.